exact Super Bowl predictions, and mine for this year is the Green Bay Packers to defeat the Buffalo Bills. Now, listen, so many people are taking the Bills, and I do think this team makes a long run, and I don't think they lose a stupid game like they did in Kansas City last year. The NFC, though, is tough to pick. I still like our Cowboys, Parlay Kid, but, they're going to have a little bit of trouble. I don't know how far they make it, taking a chance on the Saints in the NFC South and against Tampa. The Rams should be good again, but always tough to repeat. The Packers, this is Aaron Rodgers' year. I say this after 2 MVPs. All this crap about O-line issues and the loss of Devontae Adams, I'm not buying it. I think they're going to be there in the end. The Vikings will test them. They'll be smarter, though, this year in the playoffs, the Packers. I really like that Rich Bisaccia move. He's going to shore up that special teams unit. Why take the NFC over the AFC in this case? Well, I think it's better odds, 48-1. So, Bryce, stay with me with the math. Harry, you too. If you put $20,000 on 48-1, you stand to win $960,000. So even if you think the Bills are going to beat the Packers in the Super Bowl, even if the Bills are favored by a field goal, I would bet the Bills money line and essentially win $375,000 either way. So I just basically told you how to win $375,000. Harry, you let everyone know how they could lose. Go ahead. What's your Super Bowl matchup?
Yes. At 290-1. 290-1.
Ooh.
The Vikings to take down the Chargers. Now, I know, Sal, you just mentioned it's supposed to be Buffalo's year, but probably the most jinxed franchise, not just in football, but all of sports. Never works out for them. I love this team this year, but it never works out. And just two of Buffalo's 11 wins last year were against playoff teams. I love what the Chargers did on defense.
Hold on, the Chargers aren't a jinx team? The Vikings aren't a jinx team?
Okay.
Right.
Listen up.
Right.
Listen
up. You're just saying. We'll file that under just saying.
Well,
okay.
File that under, right? Sure. And the Chargers on D. I love the J.C. Jackson and the Khalil Mack pickup. Herbert, 9,300 yards in 2 seasons, a plus 44 touchdown to interception ratio last year. They picked up Sony Michel a week and a half ago, 850 yards last year, backing up Austin Eckler. Everybody knows how I feel about Cousins and Jefferson and the rest of the Minnesota offense. Zadarius Smith, Hunter, both healthy, now on Minnesota. Green Bay, I think, takes a huge hit with Adams here. Dallas can't win in the postseason. Either can Green Bay lately. Tampa Bay has O-line issues. And with respect to the Rams, no one really ever repeats. So Vikings, Chargers. 290-1.
It's hard to argue with 290-1. I have both those teams making the playoffs, but as wild card contenders. So I know, but almost 300-1, pretty damn good. Parlay Kid, go for it with the Chargers again. Winning the Super Bowl, not as high, but you got the Rams, defending champs back there. Yep.
An all LA Super Bowl with 2 Dayton coaches right there.
Nice.
Right? Brandon Staley and McVay. McVay's not a Dayton grad. He's a Miami of Ohio grad, but he grew up in Dayton. This would make it a terrific Super Bowl. It's not far-fetched. I'll start with the loser here because I'm going to take the Chargers to beat the Rams at 85-1. The Rams, let's look at the NFC. If anything, the Rams are the champs, and they have improved. There isn't one of the other contenders back from last year that I would say on paper have improved. The Cowboys have not improved. The Packers technically really have not improved.
Right.
You don't count Philly as a contender then?
I don't. The rest of the Tampa Bay has not improved, and the rest of the NFC West has not improved. I still think the Rams are the class of this team, and McVay's not going to allow a letdown. I think they have a team that's a real focused team. So I think they're still the best team in the NFC, and I think just the Chargers here in the AFC. This is going to be a battle. This AFC to me is wide open. I know everybody's jumping on the Bills. Maybe their time was last year. Maybe that was their time and they didn't capitalize. I'm rolling the dice on an ultra talented team that traditionally fails in the big spot.
All right.
I'm saying the Chargers get it done this year. 85-1, the Chargers over the Rams. All LA Super Bowl in Arizona. 2 Dayton guys. Let's go. I think this
Well,
I think it could happen. 85 to 1. I love the
There's
odds.
only one problem with this pick, Parlay Kid, and that's, I think, babyface, this is Damashek's pick too. I know he's got I think he's got an all LA Super Bowl. I don't know if he has the Charge. I don't know what, I think he has the Chargers winning it. Am I right? Or was that last year?
He definitely had it last year. It was the
maybe it was last year. Okay. All right. Maybe it was last year and this year. I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah. I've heard him on -3.
I hope he doesn't.
But the all Dayton coach Super Bowl sounds better. So
exactly. Well, that's probably what they'll end up calling it. Merchandising wise.
Does it really?
Hey, no college has produced more Super Bowl winning teams than Dayton in terms of Chuck Noll 4 and Gruden.
Is that
Staley
true?
could make it.
Wow.
I don't think
That's
it's any college that's 5 Super Bowls. What college has coach?
I see.
Right? It's got to be the record.
I don't know. I don't keep track of this. I have no idea.
Staley's going to get 1 or 2 in his career.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Chuck Noll's coached at Dayton, played at Dayton,
he played at Dayton. Graduated from UD. Yep.
Actually, I'm seeing now Lombardi, Landry, and Pete Carroll, all from University of Phoenix. I'm seeing now. That's just in. Thanks for that, babyface. I had no idea. All right. Well, if anyone could dispel that, I don't think the Parlay Kid is wrong. That's a lot. There's a lot of legends right there. All right. But Brother Bry, the aforementioned Eagles are in there with the Bills. What odds do you get for this? Bills winning this game?
Yep. I'm taking the Bills to beat the Eagles at 80 to 1. Look, we all really like the Bills. I think even though you guys are giving the Chargers, everybody likes the Bills, right? They were probably the best team at the end of the year last year, even though they didn't win it, right? Defensively, they're going to be even better, right? They bring in Von Miller. They draft the kid Elam, who was one of the best cornerbacks in college. They'll get Tre'Davious White back at some point. Kid Russo and Oliver are only going to get better. They're still 2 young studs on the defensive line. So the defense has a chance to be scary. Now you pair that with their offense, right? Mm-hmm. Got to love the addition of James Cook. He'll do a lot of things for them out of the backfield when he gets in there. So just love the Bills, all in on the Bills this year. Now the NFC to me, I don't know. It's weird to say this. I mean, the AFC is really wide open, but I feel like the NFC is really wide open in terms of, although when you look at it, you're like, wait, there's only 6 teams that seem like they could win it, but it's very wide open.
Right.
Well, this time last year, we would have said if we were counting the teams that have a chance, we wouldn't have listed the Bengals. I'm pretty sure, right? Probably, right?
No,
so it's tough.
No, only Harry would have.
Not at this point. Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? Yeah. You look at, you're looking at Rams, Tampa, Packers, right? And then you're like, but to me, the Eagles, in terms of upside and in terms of odds, I have my doubts on the Eagles with certain things, but if Hurts is good this season, they're going to be very good. That
Hurts has got to do a turnaround like Josh Allen did from year 2 to year 3. He has to increase 10% accuracy, right? I mean, it's not. Well, his incredible how he did it. Yeah.
His accuracy, yeah. I mean, his accuracy is not necessarily there, but if he is good, this team will be very good. I mean, they added a ton of great pieces on offense and defense. I think everybody else likes that, their skill, just everything about that team other than the quarterback coach. But if Hurts is good, they're going to be very good. And I do think they're going to make the playoffs. I do think in that NFC, I do think anything can kind of happen there. I mean, we've seen what the Saints have done to Tampa in recent years. So,
even spotty passing by him, he can make up for it with his legs.
Yeah. So I do think like the Eagles to me have a little bit more upside. Like them and the Cowboys might be about even, but I do think there's a little bit more upside there with the Eagles. So at Bills to beat the Eagles at 80 to 1.
All right. My choice. Look, these are monster odds. We talk about like comeback player of the year and say, hey, you can get this guy at 16 to 1. If you're getting like 80 to 1 for some of these matchups, you might as well you could have a fun year just putting in like 20 of these. 290 to 1 for Vikings Chargers. Do like 15 or 20 of these and just sit back and watch. But of course, I will not be doing that. I have a lot of big plans after the Nationals destroy me this week against the Cardinals and the Phillies. But there you go. All right, so MVP. We'll post that in a graphic. Those are our Super Bowl picks. I have the Packers beating the Bills 48 to 1. Harry has the Vikings beating the Chargers 290 to 1. Parlay Kid has an all LA Super Bowl, Chargers over Rams 85 to 1, and Brother Bry has the Bills defeating the Eagles 80 to 1. Now, MVP. Now, Brian, we always used to say, as late as last year, take the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl at 6 to 1. Take Mahomes to win MVP at 6 to 1. In the next 3 years, that'll pay off. The Super Bowl odds one is a little trickier now. I feel like there's a lot more contenders in the AFC. You're going to have to get lucky to get that in the next 5 years. I think Mahomes as MVP is going to happen. It's happened 4 years ago in 2018. And now
Crazy,
it's bumped
4
up.
years ago.
Yeah, right? It's bumped up to 8 to 1 now. And, that was my theory. Like, bet Mahomes at 5 to 1, 6 to 1, you'll win within 3 years. I just think this is a great investment. I have the Raiders winning the division, but I think if Mahomes puts up gigantic numbers and they're a double-digit win team, like I feel they will be, he's going to be in the running with 3 weeks, a month left. Also, lots of visibility for this team. So if they win 10 or 11 games, not that he ever lacked it, they have primetime games, home for the Chargers, at Bucks, home for the Raiders, home for the Titans, and at the Broncos. Plus, they play the Bills and the Bengals. He's going to be delivering his wizardry in front of a lot of eyes. He's going to be up there, and I don't think Tyreek Hill is going to make a huge difference. I'm prepared to be wrong, but Mahomes has thrived in certain situations without him in the past. I like him at 8 to 1 odds. Parlay Kid, he was the 2018 winner. You have the 2019 winner. Imagine, I looked at it, I was like, wow, Lamar Jackson won an MVP more recently than Patrick Mahomes, but that's the case.
Yeah, and if you look back at that year with Lamar Jackson, 1,200 yards rushing, only 3,100 yards passing, but 36 touchdown passes to 6 interceptions. So he was able to make up, his passing stats there with the touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And look, Lamar did not have his best year last year. He was hurt, 2,600 yards, missed some games, close to almost 800 yards rushing. But look, this team is going to go as far as Lamar Jackson takes them. And I think the Ravens are going to be a very good team this year. And who's going to get the credit if they're good? It's Lamar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the way Mahomes right now kind of has like a no-name receiving crew. You talk about no-name receiving crew, that's the Ravens. And yet Lamar still, I think, will put up his numbers. I think he'll approach those numbers from 2019. I think this will be his most passing yards year. I can see him throwing for about 3,500 yards, getting 30 plus touchdowns, at least through the air. But running the ball, the guy is not shy about running the ball, and that's what I respect about him. He knows his legs are an integral part of his game, and I think he's going to rush for it as long as he's playing in all these games. And health is the most important thing when it comes to this bet too. He's going to go 1,000 yards plus rushing the ball. So, you combine all that, Ravens having a really good season without a lot of studs surrounding him offensively. It just makes him look better. And I just think he's just such a dynamic player. One of my favorite players to watch.
I think we have the same reasoning. We have the same reasoning. Not great. Yeah. And Lamar's sucked behind the 8 ball more than Mahomes is, I think, in terms of receiver talent.
Yeah.
And he's only expected to have 24.5 touchdown passes. So if he does have closer to 30, I think you're in good shape with that one. I should read the odds right here as Josh Allen is the favorite to win. What was he, 8 to 1, Bri? You're going to get him at 8 to 1 for
7 to 1.
MVP? 7 to 1. Mahomes and Brady are 8 to 1. I made a case for why it can't be Brady. I mean, he had better stats than Aaron Rodgers last year in a year that everyone hated Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers still won. So there's too much Brady fatigue right there. Justin Herbert, who we'll get to, is 9 to 1. Rodgers, 2-time winner, back-to-back 10 to 1, and Burrow 12 to 1. But Bri, sell us on Josh Allen. You don't have to sell us too much, but just gets better.
I mean,
and
again,
better.
I told you I'm all in on the Bills this year. I mean, we had talked about that, right? Mahomes, Giannis, it seems like those guys every couple of years are going to win one. Although I never thought, when we said that at first, I never thought there would be quarterbacks that were comparable to Mahomes after watching him. And then you watch Allen and you're like, there's games where you're like, oh my God, Allen is better than Mahomes, right? At times. Yeah. I think they're the equivalent of each other. I will say, I think to win this award, right, it's going to be a quarterback. But you probably have to lead your team to the number 1 seed. I do think the Bills end up with the 1 seed here in the AFC. Allen earlier, even in the mid part of the season last year, was kind of up and down. His interceptions were a little high, but he should cut back on that this season. He still did average between, passing and rushing. He still has averaged over 5,000 yards in the last 2 seasons, has thrown and run for over 40 touchdowns in each of the last 2 seasons. So I think the reason I'd be most excited is the playoffs last year, right? He was, I mean, he looked like a video game. There was nothing. I mean, everything seemed easy. He completed 77% of passes, 9 touchdowns, no picks in those 2 games. So again, didn't seem like he was human. So I do think he builds on that from last year, just continues to improve. And again, I'm all in on the Bills this season. So I like him at 7-1.
I was thinking that when you said that, you have to be the number 1 seed, quarterback of the number 1 seed. Well, I think you're right for the last.
It's been for a while, right? And Rodgers,
it's at least 5 years because I'm looking at this now. So Rodgers for sure 21,
Mahomes
Rodgers for sure
was.
20, Lamar in 19. They were a 1 seed, right? When they got bounced, Mahomes was in 18.
Yeah.
Brady in 17. I'm not positive.
Sure.
Ryan wasn't in 16 because you know who the number 1 seed was in 16? Freaking Dallas Cowboys, 13-3. Yeah, there you go. But Ryan was 11-5 that year. But let me just check the 17, 18. Yeah, Patriots were 13. Patriots and Steelers were 13-3. So Patriots were 1 that year, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think okay, right. Steelers, Jaguars beat them. Okay. All right. So that's that. What do we got? Oh no, Harry. All right, Harry. Go ahead. You got the Chargers all over the place, right?
Yeah, I do. And I debated this all weekend between Justin Herbert.
Did
9-1?
Were you in the swimming pool debating, or where were you?
Debating in my head, debating between Herbert and Cousins at 40-1. But I still, even though I think Cousins is going to be fantastic, I'm going to go Herbert 9-1. It seems like I think maybe whatever quarterback survives and wins the AFC West gets maybe a bonus towards the MVP, maybe. And I got that going to Herbert. Sky's the limit for him and LA. 17 of his first 32 games in his career, he's passed for 300 yards or more. And to show how incredibly smooth and mature he is, 17 of his first 32. Aaron Rodgers' first 2 full seasons at Green Bay had 9. And for all Josh Allen has done, and Brian just nailed his analysis on Allen cold, but on Allen, it took him 29 games to record his first 300-yard game. Herbert has been fantastic in these 2 seasons. 35 touchdowns a year, average 77 total in these 2 seasons. 5,000 yards last year, and he has solid wide receivers, very good offensive line. I'm going to go Herbert 9-1.
This had the most movement, I think. I think I saw it 10-1, 11-1. It might have been 12-1 somewhere. Now all the way down to 9-1. They haven't even played a game. So there you go, Harry. One interesting thing. Now, we did long shot MVPs a few weeks ago, and I took Jameis. I'll put a few bucks on Jameis. Harry took Kelsey. Darren, who did you take? I know Bri took Lawrence, which, it's a stretch, but it's a quarterback. You're in the game if you have a quarterback. Darren, who did you have? Did you have like Jonathan Taylor or Kupp? You had Kupp, right?
Was it?
I think it was one of those. Oh, McCaffrey? I'm not sure.
I think it was Kupp. I think it was Kupp that there.
Was it Kupp?
I think he said, yeah.
So, yeah.
And so you could still obviously get those guys. But Harry had Travis Kelce and gave us an earful of why it was going to happen. And he was going to be great. And Mahomes was not going to be great. And the Chiefs were not going to be great either. But if Kelce has a year, which was not even, then he laid out the numbers that Kelce would have to get, and they weren't even close to Kupp's numbers from last year, in which Kupp didn't receive a vote. But whatever, it goes on and on. Well, yeah, go ahead. All right.
May I add that I didn't say he was going to win. I said how he could win it. I didn't say he was. I said how he could, and that made sense.
It didn't make sense because I showed you Kupp had, comparable numbers in getting. Anyway, okay. So here's the update on this.
But also, he doesn't have Hill with him anymore.
Sure. Right. Okay. And also, I got a message from Ben Kelly, your favorite, and said, hey, I messaged Harry and asked him what he thought about the over-under on Kelce. It's 1,050.5 yards. I told Harry Kelce has gotten at least 1123 every year. I said, this is a lock of the year. Harry told me he wasn't sold on it. Not sold on it. So he's not going to get 1,050.
I was stating that you gotta account for Hill not being there and double teams on Kelce.
Was it a pick or not?
Gets hurt.
Was it your pick or not? Was it a pick or not? Like, if you think he's going to win MVP, he's got to have over his
I stated away how he
yards.
could be, not that he was going to be.
But then you
yes,
still
but you have to endorse it a little
different
bit.
Occasions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, this
Sal was
wasn't
giving me
like
shit, so I had to fire back. Yeah, okay.
Babyface, am I losing my mind here? Did Harry hit his head on the pool or in the deep end? I'm not sure. What did he do?
Gotta
Too
cover.
many gummies. I don't know.
He's got to cover both ways. This is right. So this makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So for those of you still listening, and I don't imagine it's a lot of you, Kelsey is going to win the MVP, has a chance. He's going to blow out all these records better than he's done any year, but not as good as Cup, who didn't receive a vote. But be wary of the 1,050.5 over under yards. I think that's what I'm hearing. I don't know. All right.